Hello, this is Miss Griffith. This video is going to continue our work with word problems. The problems on this worksheet are one-step subtraction word problems. And the purpose of this video is to demonstrate for you the steps you can take to successfully answer these word problems. In a previous video, we did number 1, number 2, and number 3. So we are going to start today with number 4. The first step to answering a word problem is to read it. A restaurant made 7 hamburgers to serve during lunch. Only 3 were actually served. How many hamburgers were left over from lunch? I read the problem once. Now I am going to take the time to read it once again. The purpose of doing this is to make sure that I'm understanding what is being asked of me, as well as understanding what information the problem is giving me. A restaurant made 7 hamburgers to serve during lunch. Only 3 were actually served. How many hamburgers were left over from lunch? Now that I have read the problem twice, I'm going to circle the number 7 because that is the number of hamburgers the restaurant started with. I am then going to circle the number 3 because that is the number of hamburgers that were actually served. Using these two numbers, I'm going to create a subtraction problem that will help me to solve this. I am going to use small cubes or manipulatives to help me solve this problem. I need to have 7 cubes to represent 7 hamburgers. After I get my manipulatives out, I'm going to count to make sure I have the correct number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 blocks here represent the 7 hamburgers that the restaurant made. Now, only 3 hamburgers were actually served. So 3 of the hamburgers were taken away. 1, 2, 3. 3 of the blocks were taken away. How many hamburgers were left over from lunch? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 hamburgers left over from lunch. I'm going to put the answer on the answer line, but I'm also going to put a label word. The purpose of this label word is to let me know for what. What am I counting in this problem? I'm counting hamburgers. So that's going to be my label word, hamburgers. After I have my answer on the line, I am finished with that problem. We are now ready to move on to problem 5. Nancy picked 9 apples and gave Benny 2 of the apples. How many apples does Nancy have now? I'm going to read the problem one more time. Nancy picked 9 apples and gave Benny 2 of the apples. How many apples does Nancy have now? I've read the problem twice. Now I am going to circle the numbers that are used in the problem. I know that I am subtracting because the worksheet tells me so. I start with 9, take away 2, and I'm looking for how many apples are left over. I'm going to use blocks again for this problem. So I would need 9 blocks because that's how many apples I'm starting with. I'm going to count to see if I have 9 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 blocks. These 9 blocks are representing the 9 apples. Now, 2 of the apples were given away. 1, 2, I'm going to take 2 of the apples away. How many apples does Nancy have now? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 blocks left, which means that there are 7 apples left. I'm going to write 7 apples on the line. All right, now that I have this answer, I can go ahead and move on to problem 6. It says, Mike's cat had 6 kittens. He gave 3 to his friends. How many kittens does he have now? This problem is talking about kittens. Mike's cat had 6 kittens. He gave 3 to his friends. How many kittens does he have now? If you are doing an activity like this at home, one thing I would recommend is to have the learner try to read the problem first. So your child would read the problem first. I would recommend the second time through for you guys to read it together, yourself and the learner. And maybe the third time through, you can read it to the learner or your child. That is just one suggestion I have that will get your child or the learner practicing reading. It will also give them experience and exposure to reading word problems. Now, I'm going to go ahead and circle the numbers in this problem. I'm starting with 6 and I'm taking away 3. I'm going to use blocks for this problem. I need 6 blocks because that's how many I'm starting with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to double count to make sure I have the right amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 blocks right here represent 6 kittens. Now, he gave 3 to his friends, so 3 of these blocks are going to be given away. Now that 3 of the blocks were given away, we have some blocks left. I'm going to count to see how many blocks we have left. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 blocks left. So I am going to put that on the answer line. 3, and the label word for this would be kittens, because that is the item that they were talking about in the word problem. Now, something that you can encourage your learner to do is to check their work. So maybe after each problem, you can encourage your child to check their work, or after they finish the worksheet, you can encourage them to check their work. I'm going to show you briefly what that could look like. So let's see. The last problem was we started with 6 and we took away 3 to get 3. Now, if I was checking that, I would start with 6, I'm going to take away or erase 3. And I did end up with 3. One other way that I can double check the work is if I started with 3 dots, because 3 is our answer, and then I added 3 dots. So it would look like 3 plus 3 equals 6. These are 2 ways that you can encourage your child to check their work after they're finished.